Welcome to Real Flix Reviews, or like a book club for people who hate reading. This week's our theater pick, so we picked the movie The Revenant, made in 2015. We bring you movie news, and this week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan Preston.
Hello!
So, The Revenant, I'm not sure if I'm saying that. So here is the description.
Rebel.
A frontiersman on a fur trading expedition in the late 1820s fights for survival after being mauled by a bear and left for dead by members of his own hunting team. And I gotta say, fuck, this movie looked cold.
So, I want to kick this one off, and I just want to say this just because I'm gonna piss off some people. This movie could have been, it was like about 2 hours too long. I mean, you get mauled by a bear, you're dead, done. The only reason why I'm saying that is for the Dust Boot crowd. But
I know Bart the Bear in CG.
I gotta say though, either this guy has the shittiest luck in the world, or one of the luckiest to survive all of that shit. I mean, there have apostles in the Bible who died easier than this guy.
Right.
Yeah, it's up there with the lone survivor.
Marcus the Troll.
Status of like holy shit. But,
right.
I want to say that Howard Johnson's right about Olsen Johnson being right about this movie looking cold as shit.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is this movie, the views and the pictures, the color palette is amazing. It adds to the stark contrast. It makes, because everything in this movie is big, is giant and vast. It totally adds to the fact that this guy is by himself or with kind of a crazy Indian. A little bit of a section of it, who was like one of my favorite characters in the whole thing, especially when
I'm convinced it was a hallucination.
I think Ryan's right. I mean, just kind of like he's there, and then all of a sudden it's like, didn't you have a partner?
I really, and the color palette they chose on this was the perfect choice. Well, it was a very realistic color. It wasn't up, it wasn't down.
I enjoyed it.
I have some fun facts regarding that, John. For one, I mean, the way this movie was shot was pretty extraordinary. The principal photography, which is basically just the section of where you shoot the movie on location, was 80 days long. To people who don't know anything about or don't give a shit to know rather about how movies are made. Your average principal photography is more like 20 days, 22 days, 28 days.
And I remember reading somewhere that part of the principal to photography was actually moved to another second country.
Right. The only reason is because they were up in Canada and they had this there's a name for it up there, but where the wind basically melts all the snow and it turns into like this late summer kind of vibe whilst in the middle of winter, so they shoved it all out to South Argentina, where it was still frigid.
Yeah.
But all of the light in this movie was natural lighting. Not one thing was lit by spotlight.
I think that's really cool.
There was one spot. I actually read this somewhere. It might have been an IMDb. There was one spot with a fire, or the fire that it was throwing off the light of the camera, so they used like light bulbs. But that's it.
Right. Yeah. One thing, and then, dude, that freaking CGI bear was so good.
I know, the modern Bart.
Yeah, that thing is pretty badass.
The other thing I wanted to say, and I don't know if you guys will agree with me, but the views on this and the way it's made, not storyline wise, but I think it could really compare to be like Dances with Wolves, with a vastness of the feel of it.
I was kind of thinking the same way. I kind of would more put this storytelling closer to the style of Jeremiah Johnson.
That was actually the second thing I was going to bring up, believe it or not.
I think that they did a fantastic job, because telling a story like this, where, I mean, honestly, if you actually probably put all the dialogue into one section, it would probably only come out to about 30 minutes. Most of the movie was done with body language, situational.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of situational, like when he's building the fire to cauterize his neck wound.
Oh yeah. I was watching that. My wife saw, he was putting the gunpowder in his neck, and my wife's like, "What's he doing?" It's like, he's cauterizing the wound. She's like, "What?"
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
Which instantly brought me to Rambo and Black Dog, which is a very funny comparison.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but Rambo is the only other place that I could think of that actually did that.
There's a scene in the movie Black
There's a
Dog with
couple.
Patrick Swayze where he's doing that, and somebody asked him, "Where'd you learn that?" "Oh, prison."
There's actually a few movies I've seen it, and I can't think of them.
It's
Yeah,
not a
you're
very
right.
common trick.
No.
The other thing I would say is I didn't realize that John Fitzgerald was Tom Hardy.
Really?
Once I read that, I was like, "Oh, that's amazing," because Tom Hardy's actually generally really easy to spot. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Are you kidding me? Actually, I was going to say it's par for the course, man, because I can hardly ever spot that dude in anything. Like,
'cause-
I mean, seriously, he's like the Gary Oldman of this age.
I mean, you can't find him as Bane? Is that a
Yeah,
surprise?
well, no, hell no. What about that looked like Tom Hardy?
well, it's
You
kind
know,
of hard to
and-
see. It's kind of hard to see his mug because he has that thing pretty much screwed onto
What,
it.
you mean his alien baby on his face?
Nobody remembers him from Inception. Nobody remembers that was Tom Hardy
But
until he became recently famous.
I was really-
the fighting movie that he did. I didn't even know that was until halfway through it.
I got to say though, every actor in this movie except for one, I thought did an amazing job. The captain
Don't
was
be racist
the
against
captain was the
Indians.
only one I thought did an okay job, but everybody else, literally, the acting in this was amazing. For what acting there was in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all this movie was acting. But I mean, yeah, but the style choices were basically to feed the acting, to put you in the setting, which it
Yeah.
totally did.
Well, I mean, and when we say acting, we're not really saying like dialogue, because like James says, there's not a lot of dialogue in this movie. It's physical acting. It's
putting
Between the
yourself in
lines.
the actual situation.
and like
And I think Leonardo did a fantastic job. I really do. I'm rooting for you for the Oscar on this one after seeing your performance in this.
this
It
might
sucks that you're up against Matt Damon of
This-
The Martian, though.
this might be the movie that kind of makes me look at Leo a little bit different. It's like Everything Illuminated with Elijah Woods. That was a movie that really made me realize, okay, this guy can act. He just picks crappy movies to act in.
Well, you know, he got pigeonholed from doing shit like North in the 90s.
Wait, I thought
Yeah.
you liked North.
What was the other one they did?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, and the Forrest Goodluck. According to what I read, this was his first movie, like actual.
Oh, really?
I think this was his debut, so I'm assuming he did acting, but this is the first like major motion
There was
picture.
something else that I thought I recognized. I don't have anything in front of me, but
He did a really, because he was in a game. He was in a short called Gaming 2014. For the first big movie, he did pretty good for having like 6 lines.
Yeah.
I'm beyond impressed with this movie. I was really trying to figure out what I could nitpick on this movie. Even the Bram Besses being 1820. I mean, they weren't the high end back in the day, and especially in that time period, I don't think. But they were still used during the time. It was still very, even was amazing. The clothing choices fit the characters, even the beard. I mean, you could practically smell them in that one barroom scene.
yeah. And at first I thought Tom Hardy had mange, but apparently he was scalped.
Yeah, and there's that one scene where he talks about feeling it on his skull and all
As
the
the
warmth.
kid's scraping on the canteen or the flask.
And I was thinking how, like, the only thing I was thinking is some of the story is kind of random. That the random scene with the Indians trying to find his daughter,
Oh.
that was the one thing I was thinking, that's kind of random. I mean, this is kind of Owen Wilson and Behind Enemy Lines, where he's just
But you
thrown
saw how
into
they
everything.
tied that in with the French trading groups.
Yeah,
right?
because they had her.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
make sure, and then he runs into that, and then
That was the part I was going to run into. That was the part that I was like, was this just written so they had a reason so they could realize that he was alive?
Well, I think partly that, and then partly that's where he kind of like resupplies himself a little bit and gives him sort of the push to the end there. Anybody,
has some
did
chick
either
cut
of
the
you
balls
know
off.
this shit was a true story before watching this movie?
No, but I was reading about it. It's like Hollywood. It's based on a true story.
No. The only
This is
thing
real.
is that are really different between this and the actual story is the story was kind of
wow,
Like, he crawled most of the way, and he splinted his own leg in the morning. I mean, it was even more jacked up.
Oh, yeah, and he put live maggots in his leg to eat the gangrene. And,
Right, exactly. But, I mean, this dude actually was left by his crew. Like, the facts are correct. Matter of fact, Jim Bridger, the kid, who I didn't know was Jim Bridger at the time, I mean, was there. He was one of the party.
The only thing different is the fact he forgave the people, and he ended up dying 10 years later. What was I going to say? The ambiguous ending I thought was kind of strange. I mean, I kind of get why they did that, because, well, it's 2 hours and 36 minutes. Any longer and Kevin Costner would be jealous.
Yeah, one can assume he got back and whatever, you know.
Yeah, because he died like 10 years later by apparently another Indian attack.
Right. Yeah.
Ah, darn it! What was I going to say? I hate forgetting what I was going to say.
But yeah, it didn't. I understand. It didn't need to go on any longer at that point. They had told the story they needed to tell. They got to the revenge part. You know.
Now, was there any? Was there any? Well, I forgot what I was going to say, but I actually liked the pacing on this movie, and it was a slow movie because 2 hours and 36 minutes, you felt all 2 hours and 36 minutes of it. But
I don't think I really felt it. I gotta say, I was actually enthralled in it. There were times, there were a few times when I became situationally aware of how long the film was. But then they captivated me some more and kind of got me to kind of forget about it again.
I guess I should kind of change up what I said a little bit. Like, I felt the 2 hours and 36 minutes, but I loved every part. Granted, like you said, not every part was engrossing. But when the parts weren't engrossing, I was looking at the views, at the photography, of how they did it, the way the light plays off everything, and it was like, this movie's beautiful, and this is real beautiful. I mean, it's not like a pie beautiful. It's like you could go there and freeze your ass off.
Yeah, and see, that's what I was going to bring up. Is I mean, is breathtaking as the imagery was. I'm sitting there like right there with Leo, like, holy crap, that has to be the most miserable thing that's ever happened, and he's just got no choice but to kind of soldier on.
Yeah, I mean, he like falling off the cliff and then having to Han Solo yourself into a horse.
Yeah, I was actually
that thing, man. I forgot about the tauntaun.
I was actually, by the way, that's actually Laura was bringing that up, my wife, and I was like, that's totally, he's tauntauning it. It's like, by the way, that's disgusting. It was, just, hey, I'm gonna crawl into a horse. My second thought was, his clothes would be frozen in the way he laid it down.
Of them off, yeah. I think he had his pants on still.
No, he was buck naked.
I thought I saw a pant leg in.
No, it's because I swear they brought it up and they showed us.
I thought that too, but then I saw something like when he was inside of it. It could have just been a camera trick or something.
Because
I thought he had some pants on too. I thought he just took his shirt off. I don't know, maybe.
And the other time I was thinking, at what point would he not have hypothermia? Like traveling down that river on that log, or I don't know, walking around,
or falling down a waterfall and having all your clothes soaked. Yeah.
Yeah, one would assume they just like cut away from the part where he built a fire and dried his clothes out for an hour.
I mean, he's just probably got his dad yelling at him in his ear, "Don't be a bitch."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Be a man. Don't be a little bitch.
And so,
not to mention, one would be acclimatized to that kind of weather.
Oh, and the other thing, the Ghostbusters-esque scene with his wife floating a couple of feet above him. I liked all those scenes, but I'll be honest, I didn't quite get it. Was this him, lamenting his wife was dead?
He's probably getting some cabin fever not being around somebody for that long, and he's probably, halfway dying, so he's hallucinating.
So is that what that was? I was trying to figure out storyline-wise, what was that him lamenting that his wife and, well, now his son is dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just being haunted by the past, and that's sort of, the last moments of your...
Okay, so it's like the Gladiator-esque scene. The Gladiator.
Yeah, pretty much. You think you're about to die, so you start kind of thinking about that sort of shit
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I absolutely love this movie, and I like this movie a hell of a lot more than I liked Martian, and I loved Martian. Honestly, 5 out of 5. This movie impressed me. And trust me, to give Leonardo DiCaprio anything more than what I would normally give him. A strong movie. The views were amazing. The visuals, the color palette, the music. everything in this movie was outstanding. I mean, there were the parts in the storyline wise, like, it doesn't necessary, but, I can forgive it. James?
I'm not going to go with a 5 out of 5, but I'm going to give it a 4. A 4 out of 5. I think it was very impressive. One of the better movies that's come out recently.
Oh, yeah.
In quite a while, actually.
and I'm wondering if hopefully this is going to get the start of movies, minus the big tent poles, as we mentioned before, is like Marvel and all that. Maybe we're going to start getting movies that are a little bit more intriguing. I mean, at least views-wise, because it's like The Hateful Eight being done in 70 millimeter. It's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Dude, John, I'm right there with you, man. I got to say 5 out of 5. I mean, I think they nailed absolutely every aspect of this thing, and especially nailed it the way that they wanted to do it. With the natural lighting, I mean, just it made such a difference to how everything looked how everything felt coming through the screen. And then the acting, Leonardo DiCaprio, bless you for getting Tom Hardy to do this movie with you. Holy shit. It's just a masterclass of those two giving just monologues to each other and to other characters.
And for me personally, the only actor I thought did a so-so job was the captain.
I liked him.
But even that to me, it was like maybe that was just the character was just a little flat. I mean, it's not like he had a lot of time to actually engross as a character.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, it's a points for originality. I mean, originality in the sense of like, okay, it's a man versus wilderness, man versus man, classic sort of revenge tale. But this sort of untouched kind of like frontiersman style. Everyone's seen 1,001 westerns, but this frontier side of everything, that pre-Civil War, everyone's still kind of searching the country out, war with Indians and things like that. I mean, where all these mountain men, old school, Grizzly Adams type dudes came from,
Yeah.
Rest in peace. No, totally.
No, that was the guy in the TV show.
And it wasn't cliched all that much either, which a lot of westerns are.
Well, see, that's the thing is, it's not a western.
No,
it's like pre-western, but
this is
on the frontier.
I would say, I guess I'm kind of combining western / frontier. They all kind of have their own cliches, and I didn't really see anything that I would consider a typical cliche.
No, it was really authentic. I mean, everything absolutely felt perfect to the time.
My favorite comment on this movie was, after watching this movie, I went home to my temperature-controlled house, turned up the heater, and had a warm afternoon. And so we're going to switch the TV show we did, which is the third, which is No Child. The final episode, Childhood's End. Just about to say that, I thought. What do you think? I actually predicted the ending. So
I think this episode, in contrast of the other ones, this is where sci-fi shows the sci-fi part of it. Because before it was just there was a lot of alluding to and things like that, but this one is where they delved into the hardcore sci-fi.
No, was it sci-fi or
Sci-fi was getting back to their sci-fi roots,
or was it sci-fi being sci-fi with bad sci-fi?
Both.
Okay, I needed to clarify that if what I actually said was even remotely clarified.
I enjoyed pretty much what they were able to bring into the effects. I like the effects of this one.
They actually did a pretty good job on it. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the end of the episode. Didn't particularly like the end of the story.
Yeah, the end of the story was kind of lackadaisical.
But it was beautiful. I mean, hell, the Tim Curry-esque devils were really well done. Which, by the way, that must have been a hell of a lot of makeup.
No joke.
Even Michael Dorn's like, ha ha.
Ryan, did you ever get to watch all of these, or?
Nope.
Didn't think so. Anyways.
And I'm just gonna dig my heels into the ground on it too.
That's fine.
He's too busy living was it Dawn of the Dead or something like that in his real life?
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the And
that'd be more like it for sure.
He's got records.
And his boomstick. So the first, we're going to switch into movie news real quick. Just going to tell you, we do have a Facebook page. You love us, hate us. Hey, we'll even read your comment on air if you're creative, or if you even add something to what I say. But if you hate us, please do something other than we suck, or these guys are bozos, or something, please.
We never really finished our thoughts on that episode of Childhood.
And Sean, did you just plead to internet trolls?
Yeah,
I'm feeding him a little.
I think that Childhood's End is worth a watch if you have time to waste.
I would
That's
watch.
really what I'd say.
I would watch the Peter Pan show short miniseries we did first. But yeah, this
Neverland.
is yeah.
But Pan the film.
Oh no.
You avoid
No,
it.
Brian, shut up. No, John, you have to watch that one. It's amazing.
No.
It's amazing.
Yeah, actually, John, it is pretty spectacular, bro. You gotta see that movie.
No way I'm gonna watch that crap. I already read the internet reviews about it.
Oh, jeez.
And
Oh
I
my
like.
God,
You
dude.
believe the internet?
Which, by the way, I like bad movies. I'll personally admit, I'm a Trauma fan.
I like bad movies too, man. We've had plenty of conversations about bad movies, and I did not read internet reviews before I watched it. My girlfriend and I are sitting there like, I like Disney movies and shit. I haven't seen a Peter Pan movie in a while. I was kind of interested in the billboard that I drove by. It was so.
Here we are now. Entertain
Oh yeah,
us.
you couldn't get. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Peter Pan personally.
I couldn't stop cringing watching this movie. It was embarrassing to watch it alone.
Like Hugh Jackman, dude. What is your issue?
I haven't seen it, but my one question I want to ask is, stoned off your ass, would this movie be funny?
No.
I guess nobody's going to comment on that.
I
did.
stoned on my ass, and this movie was terrible. Yeah, no, it was just unfreaking believable. I was slack-jawed watching the first 48 minutes that I could stomach.
Okay, we're going to go back to movie news. And
I have none.
And well,
Do you have some?
I do have news. Is we lost a guy that everybody thought died 20 years ago, Abe Vigoda.
Yeah, I thought he died 20 years ago.
I mean, he's like Keith Richards. Everybody's like, shit, he's alive.
Yeah.
So
not anymore.
I actually kind of liked Abe Vigoda. Was kind of bummed to hear him kind of go personally. So kind of
Yeah.
sorry to hear
the
that.
families. He lived a good life.
Yeah, very long. He had a pretty good long career.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of
I got none.
besides a couple of things that I did post on our Facebook page. Is Mel
And we
Brooks'
talked about it.
Spaceball sequel is a go. This is a confirmation. I think the last time we talked about it, it was kind of suggested. I don't think it
But
was.
no, I mean, he has promised Nazis on ice.
Dude, seriously, I expect that freaking promise. I want to see Jews in space.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
Wait
I was
for
promised Hitler on ice, and I want that.
Yeah.
He needs to live.
And another one that I don't know if I really care or not. The shiny stormtrooper chick is going to be back in the next film, and the new film is actually going to be delayed another year. So instead of 2016, it will be released December 2017.
I was kind of surprised that they were coming out with them that fast when I heard it was 2016.
Yeah.
I figured they kind of did the Lord of the Rings thing back to back to back to back, so I was kind of shocked.
They filmed all of those at the same time. I mean, and started rolling them out when they were like filming the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not completely surprised. I actually think maybe a year between is probably pretty good for Disney. It lets them ramp up their marketing.
They've been
Their fan base is going to be around no matter what, and the way that Lord of the Rings did it, they were able to market it so beautifully by being able to like not have to wait 4 years for the second movie. You were able to catch it fresh in your mind. After just getting the last one on DVD, here comes the next one. With Star Wars, people waited 30 years, so we're not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah. And unlike Lord of the Rings, I don't really want an extended edition of Star Wars.
No, I just want the original release, dude.
Yes. And
Yeah,
allegedly
for sure.
Disney's going to do this. And in the is this really necessary category of movie news?
Well,
the
up
former-
until now, all of the angry letters have been going to Lucasfilm, and now they're all going to Disney, and Disney's probably like, oh shit, we gotta do something about this.
I was going to say, besides that, the mouse doesn't really care. So, like I said, in the why is this necessary category, former California governor Arnold Schwarzenegger plans on making a new Conan movie.
Yeah.
So the question is, so he's going to be the older Conan of the Cimarron, which, by the way, the movie's actually based on. And dear God, it's probably going to suck and blow, to quote Bart Simpson.
Well, he said he was going to be back.
Oh.
No, I'm good with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
haven't.
seeing Schwarzenegger trying to play all of his old characters until he's dead.
The problem is most of the original cast is dead at this point.
Wait, I want to see him redo Handsome Stranger, as I think the name of his character in this.
And the other,
I want to see him redo Twins.
Oh shit!
except one is an actual troll this time.
Yeah, Twins 20 years later.
Oh, and another one. I don't know if we talked about this because I don't remember. In another of the why category, is Universal makes a date with Tom Cruise to
villain.
redo. Guess what movie? Brendan Fraser starred in the last version of it, The Mummy.
What? You broke him.
No, this is probably going to be, was it Boris Karloff's the Mummy versus Brendan Fraser's version of it, but they're remaking The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Of all people, you pick a midget. And not a good actor, by the way. See, I saved all the good movie news up until the end.
Tom.
That's pretty baffling if they would reboot that franchise.
I'm kind of... I haven't decided if I'm excited about it, sad about it, or just can they just leave everything the hell alone? The other one is Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies is apparently going to be released soon and or is released, which is, well, I think was the first novel in kind of doing books like this, because the other one was Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, which we did, which, you know, hey, check it out. See what you think. It's not the best movie we've ever done, but it's not super either.
Wow. I can't believe... I mean, just arbitrarily giving shit to Super.
I mean, you could throw out Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That one was a pretty bad bomb, too. I mean, ruined my childhood.
And I'm pretty sure you could throw, like...
I mean, it's getting a little Jap in here.
And you probably could throw Dune, one of my all-time favorite movies, but you know these jabronis didn't exactly like it either. And the other one that I actually think this is cool, coming from a guy who loves Star Trek, the 1967 model of the Enterprise, which was used in the TV show, is actually being fully restored by the Smithsonian, which I think is cool.
Are they going to make it fly?
Probably like the original Superman, George Reeves. By the way, that's probably a little old for most of our people watching. And so I guess it's my next, this week coming up is my pick for Indiana Jones. For my pick, I'm picking Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, because I actually, for once, just want to sit down and have fun. And I love Indiana Jones. And
Well, allow me to correct your fandom. It's just called Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I was reading off some website. But
it didn't start getting called Indiana Jones and until Temple of Doom and Last Crusade.
So I'm looking forward to watching some Nazis melt, because anytime Nazis melt, it's a great time. Except in Das Boat, when everybody was making fun of him. And yes,
that's why I started the show out the way I did.
Boat, you have to say the.
And by the way, yes, I did kind of pick that movie just so I could say that, just to mess with some trolls. Gonna have some fun sometime, don't you, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah. I'm still... Tom, go away.
So, there's one thing that I wish they did...
Go get in the closet.
with Isaac Hayes. So, there is one thing I really wish they did with Brendan Fraser's character. Instead of making 3 different mummy movies...
You mean Monkey Bone?
Yes. What they should have done, in my opinion, was his character versus Creature of the Black Lagoon, his character versus Dracula. Kind of, I think that would be cool, having the same character and kind of rebooting the old monster movies that way.
Yeah, but it can't be the same guy. Otherwise, you're Abbott Costello.
I would be kind of okay with that.
Well, they did a long run with Godzilla.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I thought it would be kind of cool back in the day with his character. Watching it recently, I don't know.
And isn't that what they were trying to do with Van Helsing? Like have him go up against a bunch...
Yeah, went through a lot of shit because he was a monster hunter. That was his job, you know what I mean? But just like the adventurer who keeps happening to meet the mummy or the Hydra or whatever, you know?
Mothra.
Mothra. That'd be awesome.
So
No,
I
but it's Mothra.
so I gave the movie The Revenant a 5 out of 5. James gave it a 4 out of 5. Ryan gave it a much deserved 5 out of 5. Next week is the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and as always, thank
Lost
you.
Ark.
Close enough.
Goodbye.
And as always, thank you for watching.
Thank you.